Hydrolyzed protein, dog and cat food. Is it good or is it bad? Get the truth in this video.
Are you looking to learn more about natural pet health and wellness? You've come to the right place. Click the link to subscribe to Veterinary Secrets.
First, I want to thank the subscriber who suggested, Dr. Jones, can you please do a video on hydrolyzed protein, dog and cat food? And if you guys have any future video suggestions, I would love to hear them. This is Royal Canin Hydrolyzed Protein dog food. Most often it's been used in our animals that have underlying allergies. We're trying to feed a modified protein so they have less of an allergic reaction. But it's also being used in our animals that have digestive issues, specifically conditions such as inflammatory bowel disease. The premise behind this food is that you take a protein, you make it much smaller than it typically is. It's broken down a certain way. And then the thought then is that the immune system is not going to react so strongly, or it's not going to react to it. Because it's thought for the majority of our animals that have underlying allergies, for instance, they're reacting to the protein. You modify the protein, maybe you can then have an animal that has an allergy. Sounds good in principle, right? But there are problems many pet parents have reported. First, I have the same complaint. It really smells bad. Some dogs and cats, they just don't like the smell. I mean, Tula, she won't even smell it. I mean, this stuff, and if I was a dog, there's no way I would eat it. I'd smell it and like, ugh. If your pet won't eat it, it's not going to help them. A common side effect, digestive issues, vomiting, diarrhea. They've modified the protein. Most of the time, it's a completely different protein. You'd be surprised to see what protein it is. So yeah, some of these dogs, these cats, the food just doesn't agree with them. It's got a really questionable nutritional value. When you look at the first 5 ingredients, you'll know exactly why. Number 1, it's Burr's rice. 2, hydrolyzed soy protein. Soy is the protein source. Chicken fat, natural flavors, whatever those are, dried plain beet pulp, then vegetable oil. So yes, they're taking this protein, soy, this plant-based protein that I'm 99.9% convinced that any sane dog or cat would never eat. Tula, how about some soft, squishy, fake plant protein? So they're taking soy, they're breaking it up with hydrochloric acid, super potent acid. They then filter it, they add some other ingredients to it to make it potentially palatable. Something so it can be included in dog and cat food. And then that's what they're using as the protein source. Soy, in my opinion, it's really poor quality protein. For instance, it's been linked to hyperthyroid disease in cats. For whatever reason though, we're breaking it up, we're adding hydrochloric acid to it, and then we're including it in dog and cat food. So because it has soy as the primary protein source, it does not offer the array of amino acids that is really key and important to having a healthy, functioning, thriving dog or cat. Yet, here it is in this really expensive bag of dog food. And not only that, the protein source is modified. It's been broken down so the protein is much smaller. They've added hydrochloric acid, done some other things to it so they can turn it into kibble. It's been linked to GDV or bloat in dogs. It has natural plant estrogens. That can cause health issues in our pets. It can affect the thyroid hormones. Can be a concern if we have a dog that's hypothyroid, a cat that's hyperthyroid. It's inappropriate. It can cause a problem for some dogs that have specific type of bladder stones, i.e. urate stones. It's been linked to diabetes and can cause a spike in blood sugar. And there's been some reports linking it to epilepsy or seizures in our dogs. Point being, there is a lot of reasons why you should not be feeding this to your dogs or your cat. Another big concern, it doesn't always work. So you still may see the allergy symptoms. You still may be having this immune response where the immune system responds inappropriately to whatever's in this food, causing the itching, the scratching, the vomiting, the diarrhea. And then this stuff, it is really expensive. And for those of you who have a pet on a long-term HA hydrolyzed protein diet, I'm sure you can attest, this stuff is costing you a lot of money a month to give to your dog or your cat. I wanted to give you a little bit of background as to one of the big sort of underlying principles why there's such a concern with using this stuff, especially in the long term, these modified protein diets. So we'll take the poodle here, little Tula for instance. She has literally billions of bacteria going from her stomach down within her intestinal tract. All these bacteria is known as the microbiome. They are so critical for the long-term health of her, for the long-term health of your dog, the long-term health of your cat. Not only do they play this protective role within the intestinal tract, they're communicating and they're a key part of their immune systems. With the hormonal or endocrine system, they're playing a key role in terms of producing some of these hormones, triggering when or when not these hormones are being released. And lastly, the nervous system. I mean, we're all pretty aware now of this thing called this gut-brain connection. The very same thing is happening in our dogs and our cats. We can have an animal that's got serious anxiety. They're saying upwards of 30% of dogs, the poodle, she's being one of them, have some measurable level of anxiety. And we know these animals that have that, they have modified levels of the good bacteria, the probiotics within their gut. So then we go to science and we say, okay, I've got an idea. Let's modify the protein. Let's make it small because we know the protein is the cause of the allergy, the immune response. Let's take a protein that's easy to break down. We're going to take soy. We're going to add a bunch of hydrochloric acid. We're then going to filter it. We're then going to do some other things so it's potentially palatable and it could be turned into this like bad smelling, and other people report bitter tasting. I don't know who tests that, but someone has. And I would think this tastes bitter. Like thing that we would call pet food. Like what is that? When these foods first came out, the FDA said that these foods, they've not been adequately evaluated by the FDA for safety, efficacy, or nutritional value. And then they said because of that, you should just trust your vet. The vets are the ones who are going to provide oversight. They're going to tell us if there's a problem. Okay then. But is this all bad? So if you have a dog or cat, they have a serious underlying allergy, and the only thing that has worked, and you've been able to control the clinical signs, the itching, the scratching, the hair loss, the vomiting, diarrhea, with something like this, a hydrolyzed protein food, obviously in that case, in this diet, it makes sense. And I've always said that if you have a dog that has been diagnosed with atopy, the environmental allergy, first and foremost, do a proper food trial, which means you're feeding a food for 6 to 8 weeks with using a unique protein source, a type of protein your dog has never had. Or you have a cat with an allergy, a cat with ongoing vomiting, diarrhea. Once again, you're doing a food trial, but you're feeding a very simple, basic diet with a unique protein. Yes, you can buy commercial pet foods that have novel protein, but this is something that you can do at home. Instead of your dog or cat eating chicken, you can be feeding turkey. I mean, a really simple diet. We're including like 1/3 animal protein for your dog, i.e. 1/3 turkey. 1/3 of a simple, balanced carbohydrate that's less immunoreactive, something like sweet potato. Maybe 1/3 of a basic veggie. You're going to add in some type of fat like safflower oil and omega-3 fatty acid. That would be it. But there's a lot of people, myself included, we don't have a lot of time and aren't maybe the best committed homemade recipe people out there for our pets. So yeah, we want to buy something commercial. Still, in that case, I encourage you to start with a novel protein diet. One where you've got a recognizable animal protein, not this stuff, hydrolyzed soy protein. Clearly, this is a poor quality food. But if nothing else works, right? You've got a dog that's got this crazy ongoing allergy. You've done a food trial, you use this hydrolyzed protein, that stopped the itching. Then in my opinion, it's a lot better to be feeding this food than it is to have your dog on long-term Apoquel. So back to the question, is this food, is it good, is it bad? Well, my opinion, pretty bad. It's pretty crappy quality. It's got a whole bunch of questionable issues with it in terms of many people are seeing secondary side effects. But the big caveat there is if it's working for your dog and you're able to keep them off some of these immunosuppressives, then it makes sense. Thanks so much for watching this edition of Veterinary Secrets on the hydrolyzed protein pet foods for dogs and cats. Click up there to subscribe, hit the bell to sign up for notifications, and when you click that link directly in the box below, I can send you a copy of my free book.